Hi friends, this is called Puntiso. I am going to make you think. Keep in mind, number one fact, we are product of coitus, born with a black brain. And the brain is the creator of thought. And the mind. Some people think the brain is separate from the mind. Not so. Matter creates thinking. The brain, product of evolution, creates thinking. People don't think this is true. And bizarre mythological beliefs at the root of all religions that accept imaginary friends as true are also at the core of schizophrenia. In other words, people, if you have faith, you have a problem. Faith is pretending to know things that we do not know. Pretending, make believe. So that's a fact. So if you believe in God, you are a theotard, you have a problem with your brain, not unlike a schizophrenic. That is it's one thing that Richard Dawkins do not see in his God delusion. I want to make a comment on this. And that's a psychosis. Mental illness is infecting America and the whole Western world, and it can make us extinct. I call it Christ-Psychosis. They believe that a zombie named Jesus Christ resurrected and saved with blood for sin. That is a psychosis, just like a schizophrenia. I'm getting into that. I'll have some clips to show you what pernicious and how dangerous the psychosis of God belief is. It's the cancer of the brain, a really God virus. But not like Dawkins said that he thinks it's a program, it's a means. No, it's a real virus that is in our genome. Actually, what makes us crazy apes, freaks of nature.
Huh?
If your brain breaks down, yes.
You get diabetes, no problem. You get heart disease.
You're a Christian. You believe in resurrecting zombies, moron.
You break a bone, break a back. If your liver stops working, nose doesn't work right. Why should you be ashamed of that?
And you're a Christian?
Relatives, especially
and you're a Christian?
Older siblings, Josh and Amy. Moments.
I am in a family of spiritual redwoods.
Yeah, crazy people.
I mean, it is a rock solid family. And actually, when Matthew died, Amy...
You're Christ-Psychotics.
You know, Daddy, she said, Satan picked the wrong family to pick on. He's
idiots.
Big time.
She believes in Satan. This is amazing. Pastor Rick Warren, his son committed suicide, had mental problems. Well, the whole family has mental problems. He is a Christian. But what is a Christian? Christian is a person that accepts bizarre mythological beliefs of imaginary friends, which is a zombie that resurrects and saved with blood, named Jesus Christ, and he accepts all this as reality, and he prays, and he's a pastor. There are millions of churches in the United States of America infecting the mind of children, keeping them theotarded. In other words, they're stuck in the Middle Ages believing all that crap that has no basis with reality, just like schizophrenics. That's what mental illness is. It's delusions. And Dawkins does not mention it. He doesn't mention what God is. God is an imaginary friend that is found in schizophrenia and in all religions. He doesn't mention that. Dawkins doesn't mention where the imaginary friend is created. It's in the brain. When you are sane, you reject the fantasies and accept reality. But when you are sick, when your brain is malfunctioning, has a neural array dissonance, cognitive deficits in the pulvinar nuclei, which is in the brain. Nobody mentions that. He doesn't mention that. And when he's sick, he has a problem with deficiency. Then, of course, you accept these fantasies as if were reality. And that happens in all religions. It's happening in churches. You go to church and you read one stupid book full of myth that is no different than Winnie the Pooh, And you accept that as reality. It can be the Quran, can be the Bibles, the many Bibles, can be anything. And you accept that as reality. That's faith. And you go and kneel down and you do these things and you pray and you do that stuff. If you do that stuff, you're acting and you're behaving no different than a schizophrenic or a person under drugs. I can give you some mirtazapine. I can give you some henbane. I can give you datura flowers. I can make you a tea. I can give you 10 beers. And you will not be able to think correctly. And this is what Dawkins doesn't understand. A lot of people don't understand. Religious beliefs are irrational and are no different than the beliefs of schizophrenics. It's impossible. These people in this 21st century don't understand that. A brain operation proves it. A brain is the one that creates the God delusion, the thinking. There's no one single, trying to find bibliography for schizophrenia and mental problems in this book. You will not find it. You will not find it what a God is, the concept of God. Where is it created in the brain? None. Zero. It doesn't have God seen here, the concepts. It doesn't explain it. It doesn't have the etymology of the word. Where is the concept, the word God in English? This comes from the 8,000 language in the planet. And that you should study Latin and Greek to understand the roots of all these words. None. And then we go into the delusion. The delusion is found in defective brains. And he doesn't mention schizophrenia. It's ridiculous. So, but anyway. Pastor Warren, this guy is psychotic. Nobody sees it.
15 weeks since mental illness took my son Matthew's life.
An impassioned Rick Warren himself at age 27 in April. With his wife Kay at his side, Warren told his Saddleback Church congregation Matthew suffered from mental illness since childhood.
Doctor's money could buy. We had gotten...
You are a Christian.
We had the best therapy.
You're a Christ-Psychotic moron.
Thousands of people praying. Strong family.
Prayers don't work.
Faith.
You're crazy.
It just did
You're
not
crazy.
make sense.
What is mental illness? Pastor Warren is a Christian. He believes in a resurrected zombie named Jesus Christ that saves with his blood for sin committed by a madman and a ribbed woman when they accepted a fruit from a talking snake in a garden. He believes in miracles. He believes in angels. He believes in prayers. This imbecile, the psychotic imbecile, why doesn't he pray? Why, he should be happy that his son was killed, that his son killed himself. He should rejoice. His son is with God for eternity. You know, like the stupid Rick Warren that is still here. Why don't he kill himself? Him and his wife should go over there and jump from the Grand Canyon and go to see his son for all eternity. If he's a true Christian, he should do that. All his congregation, don't be a hypocrite. This is a sinful planet. Why don't you all form a line, go to Grand Canyon and jump. You'll be with God for eternity. Be a true Christian like the Muslims are that kill themselves. They are true believers. Christians are, these people are psychotic. Nobody questions their mental health. Dawkins doesn't do it. Dr. Krause doesn't do it. No one. Neurologists don't do it. And United States of America, a Christianity-infected country, they give licenses to all these Christ-psychotic infected imbeciles, doctors and neurologists and all that stuff, to actually practice medicine. And the guys believe in resurrecting somebody that's with blood. And nobody sees it. And they get reinfected in churches every Sunday. That's the problem. Prayer, vigils, God save America. Idiots. Psychotic people.
I would ask him if he would incarcerate, imprison a family member because they were gay. Because we're brothers, we're sisters, we're aunts and uncles. We're just regular folks.
Christ-Psychosis is a mental illness. It's a schizophrenia mental illness that nobody sees. And it's because of all racism, homophobia, pedophilia, and all the rest of nonsense. Look at Russia. Christianity infected Russia. The church is in power and everything, saying gays are bad and sinful. Like, you know, they probably say the same thing about Jews, Christ killers. They think about it. They know all this. Gays, now they develop laws against homosexuals. We are all bisexual by nature. We have tits in our chests, proving our bisexuality. We're male and females. You know, we were created in the zygote. These people are imbeciles. They are Christ-Psychotic infected imbeciles. And this is the... My dog is here. Oh, you don't want to talk to? But anyway, this is the problem. And they're going to have Olympics in Russia. But why is Putin like that? Why? Because he's a Christ-Psychotic infected imbecile. He believes in these imaginary friends, in this Jesus Christ and all that crap. Like all this, the Orthodox Church. They put some ladies in jail over there because they were protesting in the church. It's like the Middle Ages now. They're going to round up atheists and gays and everybody and all that stuff and kill them. Put them in a stake and burn them like in the Middle Ages. Be just like the Islam psychotic infected countries. But this is the problem. Nobody mentioned Christianity. Christianity is at the root of all these problems. The root. The problems in America, the anti-science imbeciles, the people don't believe in global warming and they don't believe in science, and all the churches propagate all these diseases, and they do it in Russia too. They are Orthodox Christianity psychosis. No different than Islam psychosis or any other mental illness. This is the problem. Nobody sees it. Nobody sees it. And these people that are gay, they are Christian, they are like Jewish Nazis. Because they are ignorant of history. They don't realize that thanks to the Christianity, the son-begat belief, the psychosis that occurs 1,500 years ago, you know, Constantine, 325 CE, when the Christianity emerged, the psychopathy of Christianity, intellectual stagnation, and the Dark Ages, this disease, thanks to Christianity, Jews are being hunted down, Christ killers, gays are sinful, and all the rest of the crap. Thanks to Christianity, nobody mentions it. The disease, nobody mentions it. It's worse than HIV/AIDS. Nobody mentions it. Yeah, and he said he went to church all the time. And then he beat them.
I know when I picked up the second victim, which was Gina.
Christian man, going to church all the time, on Sunday, his own words.
Because I was violent predator and trying to make me look a monster.
You're a Christian, Christ-Psychotic.
I am just sick.
You know, he says he's not violent, but
forensic psychiatrist,
a sex addiction.
The woman is stupid.
But, you know, when you have a sex addiction, you
this is Christianity that did it. Nobody mentions the upbringing, the Christian religious upbringing of these idiots.
You go out to bars and find women in various ways and have sex. You know,
brain is the one that creates thinking and creates believing God when he's sick.
What he did, even if he didn't beat them, which is not likely, it's hard to believe that.
She's a psychiatrist. She's an idiot.
Violent enough.
From this Christ-Psychosis psychiatrist, the word Christianity, the upbringing of Castro, the upbringing of the girls that were kept hostages as sex toys over there in the house of this Christ-Psychotic infected imbecile Castro. Zero. They don't mention it. They don't mention the upbringing. It's like they came from the moon and they were taught by Martians. Nothing. They never mention Christianity. United States is a Christianity-infected country. These people are psychos. If you have a defective brain, you cannot get rid of this Christian upbringing, the Christian crap, and then you get molested in churches. Your brain gets kicked with the deluded, authoritarian imbecilities of the church. This garbage, intolerant, racist crap from the Bible crap, you know, infecting the brain of these children. They grow out to be psychopaths. Only the very strong brains that can tell between fact and reality, they become sane atheists, are able to reject the fantasies. Not everybody can do it. That's the reason the whole country is infected, and they all give money to the church, and they don't pay taxes, and they keep raping the amount of children, and keep people ignorant and stupid. Because the United States is the most ignorant, deluded nation in the planet, thanks to Christianity. They don't see it. And here is Dawkins, which is clueless about the whole thing, and the man is blind, completely blind to facts. And that we are evolved material primates, that we have create thoughts with the brain. Dawkins is clueless about that here. And he says it's like agnostic. Amazing.
It's something that grips the mind in the same way as a virus, a conventional virus, grips the body.
Keep in mind, exactly the same thing as religious psychotics. They believe that the mind is separate from the brain. They have no idea that the brain creates the mind. And Dawkins keeps that idea too. Believes that they're separate. They're not. They're the same.
People who believe something without evidence and then go out and take action which damages other people.
Guess what, Richard? Schizophrenics do exactly the same thing. They believe in things without evidence, these delusions in their brain, because their brains are sick. And they take action and they do damage other people. Man, is he blind?
Interest of the cause that you're pursuing, that debate is quite highly charged.
I wonder if there is a motive, as you think they are, culture of respecting religion, that anything comparatively mild sounds more outspoken than it really is.
And Richard says that he hates religion, but he despises religion. But see, to me, religion is a mental illness. It's a form of schizophrenia. It's organized schizophrenia. And he doesn't see it. So he must despise schizophrenia too. Same quality of religious psychosis. Why don't you despise schizophrenics then? They have, just like the religious psychotics, the same bizarre mythological beliefs of some begods, say, with blood.
Belief in religion is so firm and so unshakable that they actually think it justifies killing people.
Right. Bipolar and people with paranoid schizophrenia, psychopath, they enjoy killing people for their beliefs, imaginary friends. They also drown babies because of God, like Andrea Yates did. Or 900 people killed, like Jim Jones, because he was a reverend, suffered from Christ-Psychosis. This is something that, Richard, you don't know anything about. You have no idea about the brain. You have one. You were created by a fuck. Not any God. You create God with the study neurology. You ought to do that. Because you have no idea. You're a brilliant man, but in neurology you're very, very ignorant.
Agnostic. I have thought about the tenets, certainly of Christian belief, myself unable to be convinced, but I still think that I can't possibly know whether God exists or not anymore. I mean, am I not having the courage in my conviction?
No, I mean, I'm an agnostic too in that sense. In the God delusion, I made a 7-point scale. Is a God, and 7 is total conviction that there isn't. And I put myself as a 6.
Oh boy, 7-point scale, it's useless. It's vacuous, it's useless. It doesn't get to the point. It doesn't compare that religious bizarre beliefs are no different than the bizarre beliefs in schizophrenia. It's a mental disorder. It's all in the brain. And he doesn't mention what God is in the God delusion, and he doesn't mention what a delusion is, which is a schizophrenia. He doesn't even have one, just look at the bibliography in his book. It doesn't mention schizophrenia, and he doesn't compare religious belief for the schizophrenia type disease it is. It's right there, so obvious. He doesn't see it. Richard was brought in a Christ-Psychosis infected home in England. See what happens? In his God delusion, he had no idea what God is, or he has no idea what a delusion is. It's all created in the brain. He has no idea that the brain, that the bizarre mythological beliefs at the root of schizophrenia are exactly the same bizarre mythological beliefs at root of all religions. Their religions are based on believing in imaginary entities, spirits and all that. And people that believe in that, in the zombie God that resurrects and saves with blood, that's what God is in the Christian terms, is a psychosis. And I'm sorry to say, Richard is completely clueless about these things. And this is the problem. Religious beliefs are a mental illness. It's a psychosis. And he doesn't understand that. He doesn't even know what a delusion is. He has no idea, Richard has no idea what agnostic means. A without gnosis is knowledge. In other words, lacking knowledge, no idea. Doesn't this man realize that it creates thinking and thoughts with the brain? And the brain is to create gods. You can prove that in a neurology lab. So where is God at? God does not exist. It's a creation of the brain. There is this concept of gods, we are as many as the brain can create, will not exist if there is no brain to create them. With neurons, the brain creates the mind. This is not separate than the brain. This is what he doesn't understand, thanks to his Christ-Psychosis upbringing.
Trappings of theocracy remaining, like Britain, because we have bishops in the House of Lords, and we have lots and lots of faith schools, and we have the Queen is the head of the Church of England. Like the Scandinavian countries, which have an established church, seem to be the least religious. And a country like America, which has written into its constitution the separation between church and state, a wall of separation, as Jeff.
You mean the least psychotic? Because religion and schizophrenia are the same brain disease under a different name. You should learn languages and the etymology of them all. But basically, all these countries, the Western world, is infected with Christianity. It started 1500 years ago. He should study Roman history. That's where it came from. All the different gods, and the Roman gods adopted different names. And Latin and Greek, all these different languages, these languages evolve into many, many languages, and different languages. Then you have Italian and French and Portuguese and English, or different type of English. I mean, etc., etc., etc. Doesn't he understand that? And that's exactly what happened. And at the core was Christianity, the many sects and many variations of Christianity. And so he was born in a Christianity-infected home. Like C.S. Lewis, for instance. You know, that Christ-Psychotic infected imbecile, and the rest of them, a lot of British are Christianity-infected. And they're all controlled by the grand psychotic of them all, which is the Queen of England, which is like the Pope of Britain. And they have the church, and they have all the stock in the Middle Ages, Christ-Psychotic infected imbeciles that start wearing all this outfit from the Middle Ages. They don't evolve, and that's what the problem is. And Richard is clueless about it. That is the problem. And United States is a Christ-Psychotic infected country. No separation between church and state. It's only in name, because there are millions of churches spreading their garbage Bible, God crap, the psychosis of God all over the country, keeping children and everybody ignorant, stupid, deluded, racist, immoral. I mean, just name it. And then they send missionaries to spread the cancer of God belief over the whole world. And that's the reason they hate us in the Muslim psychotic countries. Crusades and all that is all thanks to Christianity. The Inquisitions. And then the rape of America. So that is, and Richard is clueless about this stuff. It's a mental disease. Believing God is a danger, mental disease disorder. And it's worse. Christianity is the worst of all of them. Christ-Psychosis is worse. Worse than that Hindu psychosis, worse than the many Islam psychosis, the many of the different disorders. It's a schizophrenia. It's in the brain. Let me give you some mirtazapine, Richard, and see if you'll be able to talk and think straight. Or henbane, because it's the brain. The brain creates the mind. Deal with it. Study neurology. And then write another book. It's incredible. Oh, the truth is always very hard to accept. And the truth is that we are product of coitus. Born after 9 months of of fabrication of a zygote and mutations of the DNA, born with a blank brain, with no oxygen, because we've been swimming like a fish in our mother's womb. The cave of creation, amniotic fluid. Then when we are born, we get the spirit, which is soul, which is air in the lungs. And then we got the imprinting period. Evoke potential, sensory gating. That actually with the 5 senses navigate the planet, and then we start navigating the planet, acquiring information. And not all brains are created equal. If your brain is defective or susceptible to diseases and all that, because we all have a different DNA, genetic programs, then we tend to accept fantasies and myth and irrational things as reality. In other words, we are theotarded. We can be a little bit regress. And it's mental disorders. We have schizophrenia, temporal lobe epilepsy, Tourette's, and bipolar, just name it. There's thousands of different mental disorders that only us, evolved mutated primates, the crazy ape, have. You don't see the regular animals having these disorders. No, only us. Because we are the crazy ape. And we should accept it. So, believing God is a mental disorder like schizophrenia. So, if you believe in God, you're a theotard, you have a problem with the brain. And that we should actually accept it. We should realize this fact and then join the psychosis. When we want to be crazy, we can be crazy, but we would know that we are crazy. We are acting crazy and doing anything we want because of that innate craziness that we have in our system. Because we're involved in the deprivation, we're crazy, we're mutants, freaks of nature. We should accept that. But if we are not aware of that, Christ-Psychosis is the most dangerous of the schizophrenia-like zombie God believes. And it could render us extinct. We are destroying a species on the planet. We're destroying the planet. We are raping the earth. We are cutting all these trees. We are, going hunting, and we don't need to. And we doing all this. We're polluting the whole damn planet. We are just getting this. It's incredible. And the reason is because we are not aware that believing God is a mental illness because of all the problems, all the wars, all the racism, everything that you can see of all the problems that we have. Anti-gay, Russian with all the problems, the suicide bombers, the Islam psychotics, everything. It is the cause. Religious psychosis, God psychosis, is the cause of all these problems in the planet. We're going to make ourselves extinct with it. And we should be aware of it. Christ-Psychosis, believing in a resurrecting zombie that's with blood, is the worst of these viral diseases that we have. It's schizophrenia-like disease, psychopathy that nobody sees. And I repeat this ad nauseum. I keep repeating and repeating and repeating. Everybody watch my videos. Watch my other videos because I have a lot of history videos, all based on facts. But this one about Christ-Psychosis, I always Christ-Psychosis, I repeat it ad nauseum because you have to repeat it 1,000,000 times so it sinks in the Christ-Psychosis infected brains of Americans. They're extremely stupid people. Ignorant. They forget things in 2 seconds. Very, very short memory in this country. Incredible. And we could be extinct.